I call meeting in order. Start with pledge of allegiance. Remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks, everybody, and welcome, everybody. Okay. Approval of the minutes. Questions or anything on past minutes from the regular council meeting in, was it the 24th, I believe?
26th. The minutes for January 8th. Just where you have, it's the fourth paragraphs. Counselor Stoltzman made a motion to approve the bills. Counselor Stoltzman seconded. It just needs to be corrected.
Okay.
Anything else? If not, with that change made, somebody make a motion to approve.
I will make a motion to approve.
Someone second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye, opposed, motion carried. Approval of the bills, questions on the bills or anything? Got them highlighted in red, that's handy. If there's no other further questions, somebody make a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the bills.
Someone second?
And second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye, opposed, motion carried. I see you got them buildings all segregated.
Yes,
Perfect.
Yep.
No, it's just kind of nice to know what it costs to run each one.
right?
And okay, we're down to sales class with Barb, but I know Barb isn't here, but I know this lady.
I'm Mary Cassim and I'm with Catholic Charities of Southern Minnesota. And I work in our active aging programs. And our active aging programs puts together health and wellness programs in the rural communities for people 55 years of age and older. And we have Barb Paul has been working really hard and diligently to find a space in Good Thunder so that we can start a class here as well. We have over 50 classes all over South Central and Southeastern Minnesota. And they really feel like we could have another one here. So we are here. We've checked around in numerous places. Barb has worked really hard in checking out other locations. And so we would like to ask for permission to use this space. I believe this is the space, correct? It looks like what was in the picture, to hold an exercise class. It meets twice a week. They're looking at Tuesdays and Thursday mornings, although we're flexible. Totally, it'd be about an hour and a half between setup, the class itself, and then putting the room back in order. We do not charge for our classes, and we are a federal funded program. And so we look for space that is able to be donated to us. So that's why I'm here today.
Is it adequate in size, do you think? You know, are you gonna have 8 to 10 to 15 to 20 to 25 people show up, or you don't know, right?
We don't know yet.
Yeah. Mhm.
I would guess it'll be about 10, and we could make this work.
Yeah.
If we outgrew it, we'd have to look for something else, which is, something that we could do. But for the time being, I think this would be adequate.
Well, we had some plans in place to, like, behind you, take that wall out, put it back in there to make a library. To make this room bigger, but well, John brought up a lot of things that are maybe more pressing last meeting than that. And we have to get a few more quotes, but it would help you out because all the chairs could go back in there. These could come this way and give you adequate room, you know, if we done that. And did we get any quotes? Was there a quote at all for moving that back or?
There was one,
Yeah,
it wasn't a hard number though, just kind of a.
yeah, it was a preliminary thing, but, and
I don't really have a problem with it, except for, you know, we still have customer traffic, you know, that's haphazard, you know, throughout the week. It. And I don't know what kind of disruption it would be to Sue, you know, if she has conference calls, if she's on the phone. You know,
And where is Sue? Where does she, in that?
In there.
in that office, yeah, you know, how soon are you looking to start?
We're ready. So as soon as we have the space, we're ready to go.
did you
We
guys,
have we have 3 trained leaders that have taken the time to be trained. It's a 5-hour training. And we have the equipment. So we're ready to go.
So, but I mean, so like, you can be, is this to music? Is it? I mean, is it gonna be loud and disruptive to an office environment? I guess that's my biggest question. Because we still have to run the operation of the city out of this building is the only problem. You know, so if you're
There's
in,
music, but in a small room like this, we don't need to have loud music. I think it would be fine. If, you know, the door open, probably not a good idea, but if the door is closed, I think it would be fine.
he said it was like an hour and a half,
The class itself
Yeah.
is 1 hour.
1 hour.
So 20 minutes before, maybe 10 or 15 minutes after. They usually start around 9 or 9:30.
Did you say you're with Catholic Charities?
Mhm.
So would the Catholic Church not be an option to use?
Vicki, do you know why that was not one of the options?
I don't know.
How about the St. John's? I think I kind of directed you that way.
St. John's will not, well. They're taking it under advisement, but the problem there, and I'm sorry, I'm Vicki Bennett, I don't want to believe it. When we approached St. John's, the entrance that we'd be using is key coded for the daycare center.
Yeah,
And this first question they asked was, do you limit who comes? No, we don't. It's open to the public. So then at that point, there's a liability issue. The kids are there. It's supposed to be secure.
Right.
So that was, I think, one of the main things
mhm.
that they were really questioning. They asked us if we could use the front of the building, but then we have the steps. And since we do have a lot of seniors, that can be a problem because some people are actually coming for like a rehab situation and then doing the steps and then going up the steps to then come down the steps can be an issue to them. So they said they were taking it under advisement. It didn't sound positive that they would allow us.
I wonder the old, the old portion of the parochial school down there. The bottom lower level has an entrance on the east side, you know, and that, what did that used to be, like a little gym or what the heck was in there?
It's not the property that Mike Drummer purchased.
No,
This
this,
is.
at the
Oh,
daycare.
okay.
The lower part, the doors faced east, out to the east. And that was it was a bigger building or a bigger room there, you know, but then it'd have to be secured off from the daycare also, but there is a door, there used to be a door there that I remember.
And Barb is on her way here. She wasn't able to be here right at 7, but she probably has the answer to that because she's done the legwork within Been Thunder. I did also check with Mike Drummer, thinking that, you know, that maybe some of that space would be available, but he said, no, it has no heat. They turned out the heat and the water. So that's not there.
Supposedly, when it gets up and going, there would be a community center in there. but
Correct.
he's not able to do anything until all this grant process goes through and all that. Cause we met with him last month here. And he's ran into a few snags there also,
Mhm.
so. I don't know. John brings up a good couple points, but you also are providing something for people to get out of the house to do, so.
How much morning traffic do you have?
It kind of depends. Personally, I'm willing to give it a shot. Give it a week or two and see what happens. I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know if we want to move these tables with all the wiring and stuff, but we can see. I'm not sure how easy that is.
I mean, we could slide
You
these
should be able
back,
to slide
to
them
the
back
wall.
enough.
Yeah.
See the pictures of this room
Mm-hmm.
and I could tell that there was wiring down there.
Yeah,
We
there's
would
some-
not touch that.
So.
We would work around
Yep.
that corner.
and like
That
that,
was moved and it was kind of a mess, but.
and Sue moved some of them books out, that
Mm-hmm.
there could go away also, them there, we could leave there. But, you'd have enough room if 8, 10, 12 people showed up, I'm sure.
And here she comes. We do have a cart. It's a 3-wheel metal cart. 3 racks, sorry, a metal cart on wheels. It's probably that tall. And that's the only thing that holds all of our equipment.
Yeah, and see, there's plenty of room out there behind you in the garage. So that would
We
be
have
no
a cover
problem.
for it.
Yeah. I guess Sue, you would be the deciding factor.
I
if
mean,
you-
I'm willing to try it and see if it is a disruption, see if it does, the traffic isn't real bad and we can time it around when I go to the post office. Of course, if I lock that door,
Are they people 55 and older that walk in?
anybody,
Would like to join us.
you never know.
It's open to male and females, no problem.
Well, I'm only
There you go.
54, so I'm just. you're under-
Do they take IDs?
So. John? Yeah, I brought up some good points, Scott. Amy? What do you think?
I would definitely give it a whirl.
Can try it. They might not like, well, after a month or two, you might, well, it's not working here either. It's
Yeah.
a two-way street.
What was the situation with the Catholic Church?
Probably the stairs.
The rent, and
Oh,
they wanted rent was the main thing, and if we did it there, you'd have to do it in the.
Not in the
narthex
basement
part,
area,
because the
yeah.
basement, you have to go downstairs,
Gotcha.
so if anybody was. Handicapped at all as far as doing stairs, you can't get down
Okay.
stairs without using the stairs. There's a ramp on the side to get up into the church itself. So that's why, we could use that narthex area, but they want rent.
that just seems.
I was explaining to her, the old parochial school, that lower level has a door to the east.
Mhm.
Are they utilizing that room down there? That used to be probably almost this size, didn't it? That used to be the lunchroom or the gym or something, wasn't it? Do they,
Those were 2 classrooms that are on the east side.
are they being used now or not?
Some of them are,
Okay.
but they weren't interested in letting us. We already contacted them and.
Yeah, that was all using the daycare entrance where you could
Mhm.
probably have your own entrance on the east side. If you could lock
Yeah.
that door.
But we suggested several alternatives and they weren't
Okay,
interested.
I don't think you could get in. It's just a fire exit, because I used to work in those 2 rooms. It's a fire exit door.
yeah.
Exit door only.
Door from the outside. Somebody would have to.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no handle.
Oh, okay,
One of us went in first and propped open the door while,
okay.
for that
Then you
hour or
could-
whatever, till everybody was there and then shut the door. But they weren't interested.
Well, then let's make this simple. If everybody's in favor, somebody want to make a motion to allow this to happen for a while to see if it works out with Sue and everybody else and.
Don't make a motion to allow them to be in here.
All right, Scott made a motion, someone second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye, opposed, motion carried.
Yeah.
Give it a whirl. Thank you.
Who would we contact? Sue
Yeah.
as far, okay.
Yeah, just coordinate with her.
I'm gonna leave you my business card. And then maybe you could just reach out to me. Or do you have a business card with you?
I do not.
Thank you, everyone.
Yep, thank you.
Right. Just email me tomorrow.
Okay.
Work through it.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, we got Joe here from Bolton and May. Sewer, sanitary sewer easement with Brett J. Winters. Probably whatever else you've encountered.
Yeah.
While you're working back there.
Yeah, good evening. I'm Mayor and City Council, here to provide an update on the 2024 Halliday Street sanitary sewer project. As you know, this is that portion of sanitary sewer. It starts at the intersection of Halliday and Shabbat, extends to the east, cuts across private property to the intersection of Lynn and Front Street. And it also runs north underneath that drainage swale paralleling Halliday Street, kind of near the backyard of those homes that front Halliday Street. So we've been working through, or the purpose of the project, it's an old 8-inch clay tile, right? We want to get that reconstructed with new PVC, polyvinyl chloride sanitary sewer that's watertight. We've acknowledged that that portion of the clay pipe runs underneath the drainage swale, could be a key contributor to the city's I&I. So we're looking to get that reconstructed with PVC pipe. As we talked about at some of the previous council meetings, in order to construct the project, we needed to acquire a permanent easement from a property 200 North Front Street. It's adjacent to the sewer improvements. Right now, the existing pipe runs on private property on the south side and on the west side of the property in question. So we've been having conversations with the property owner regarding the permanent easements needed to construct the sanitary sewer. So I'll kind of go through a few of the topics of the discussion from the discussions with the property owners. One of them is the size and the locations of the permanent easements we've been asking for. So we've been asking for a 10-foot permanent easement on the south property line and a 15-foot permanent easement on the west property line. So another topic of discussion was building setbacks in the city. We did a little research on the city's zoning and the city codes there. So that property is zoned as in the industrial district I-1 for the city's zoning map. I just printed off from the city code website here. So the setbacks for industrial I-1 district, this is printed off from the city code. Front yard regulations, there shall be a front yard setback of not less than 65 feet from the center line of all state and county highways and other public rights of way. And what a setback is, it's a distance from a property line or a center line of a roadway, in this case, to the nearest structure, building, shed, so forth. The side yard regulations, the side yard setbacks, there shall be a side yard on each side of the building, each yard having a width not less than 15 feet. Except where the district abuts a residential district, the side yard shall have a width not less than 50 feet. In this case, it's industrial to industrial for the zoning map, so it's 15 feet for the property we're in question. And lastly is the rear yard setback. The rear yard shall have a depth not less than 15 feet. Except where the district abuts a residential district, there shall be a rear yard having a depth of not less than 50 feet, 50. In this case, it's industrial up to residential, so the setback is 50, 50. So we talked about setbacks, the location of the easements. We've also talked about land value for the easements that we're attempting to acquire for the Halliday Street project. So how land value is calculated in a situation like this, you would take the cost of per acre, which is available through the we're trying to acquire. So dollar per acre times acre gets you a dollar amount. And then the kind of industry standard or what an appraiser will tell you is how much a permanent easement appraises for versus the land value is 75%. So when you run that calculation on the easement we're trying to acquire here, it's just under a 1/10 of an acre. The land value comes out to $2,000. So, anything else that comes to me from the discussions with the property owner? The last thing we've been talking about is the title of the property. So right now there is no platted easement on top of the existing sewer pipe. It's a We pulled the title reports, there's no easement there, but what is there is what's called a prescriptive easement. And that's there when a pipe has been in the ground for over 15 years on a property. The city does have the right to get in there and maintain that pipe where it is today. And the goal of this project is to reroute it because right now the pipe is adjacent to a shed and actually runs underneath a smaller shed on the property, which is not accessible for maintenance. So the goal is to get it to reroute it to adjacent to the property lines. Increasing the buildable area of the property per those setbacks we've been talking about, getting that sewer pipe off to the edge of the property.
Is that an 8-inch clay going east and west?
Yes,
Yeah, so that was probably put in the early 70s when the whole town got the lagoon and was all redone.
it's likely, I mean, the transition to PVC from clay happened in kind of the early to mid 70s, so it's earlier than the late 70s, but I couldn't put an exact time on when it was installed. So yeah, we've had some discussions with the property owners, Jay and Brett Winters, who are here tonight. We haven't came to an agreement for the easements. I just want to fill you in on what was kind of discussed at those meetings. I think that Brett and Jay are here this evening. They'd like to discuss terms, if any, for the acquisition of the permanent easements, get their take on the scenario.
Brett, Jay?
I figured I'd come tonight or whatever, obviously, and the big thing is, so we've talked to Joe and he's told us what we need to have happen here. My biggest problem is the fact that I feel like if you look at this map with this new sewer line, the only property that it's affecting at this point is mine. It doesn't seem like there's been an effort to approach any of the other adjacent properties to mine to do anything with it, especially being there's an actual right of way behind my property that other people have built on. So for me, it's just like, I understand, I'm kind of the path of least resistance here. But if you guys want this project to happen, you want, this easement to happen, to me, I need to be compensated for that, being I'm kind of saving you guys the effort of dealing with Carol's fence and Carol's house, or Carol's building and Lilo's fence and Lilo's building and Carol Gas's fence. So I'm just looking at it in the fact that, I just don't, to me, I'm not gonna give you an easement unless I feel like I'm compensated for it.
How will it affect you negatively?
I have to give up my property, and at this point, now that Joe said the setback 15 feet, I pretty much lose every bit of buildable land on the south side of my property. All there. So
One thing I'll say to that, Brett, the setback is from the property line, not the easement.
Okay,
So there isn't any, if it's,
so I can go right up to your easement then.
yeah, if it's a 15-foot setback, let's just talk about raw numbers here. If it was a 15-foot setback and a 15-foot easement, you could build right up into the easement line. The setback is from the property line.
And see, that's where all this has failed over the years. And those people constructed fences and they put buildings on and retaining walls. They came to the city and we're gonna put this here. Well, nobody asked a question about that right away.
Well, and that's my problem is, nobody asked the question when they were doing it, but so now that goes and makes it easy for you guys to go and use my property and not be like, well, they did it before. It'd be no different than if I built a building where these easements wanted to be, you guys wouldn't be asking me nothing about it. But now that these people have, you wanna use my property.
Well, and I think part of it too is the fact that, even the day that they were down there doing some exploratory stuff, they're digging some holes or whatever. There was conversation there about going to work and looking back at city records to find out where the building permits were issued and all this kind of stuff as to whether it was incumbent upon the city to make this right, if they were encroaching onto the easement, or whether it was on the homeowner to make it right because they built where they weren't supposed to.
That's
So
right.
ultimately, there's been some acknowledgement, I think, on my part that somebody has kind of been in the wrong in the past. And I think that in the end result, it's like once again, the only person that's really gonna be affected by this, by, giving anything up is going to be Brett and his property. And, so in the end result, it's like, well, I mean, there was an article, I know that I read the minutes and it said something about there was a potential another plan in place that was gonna cost a significant amount of more money. And if that's the case, it's like, well, then what can be done about that, you know? And it's not that, you know, I mean, ultimately, there's a lot of people that will benefit from this. I mean, it's not just even the people on Halliday Street, it's the people that are sending everything from the other up towards the Catholic Church and up that direction that comes down that direction.
All of it does.
Yeah. And I
All of it
mean,
comes right down the street.
I mean,
everybody's benefiting.
yeah, there's a lot of people benefiting from it. And I mean, I guess the benefit of getting that old pipe off there, I guess is a benefit to a certain extent, but right now, it doesn't adversely affect the operation of our sanitary sewer whatsoever in that building. So, I mean, you know, and I understand the reason, you know, for trying to do this, you know, with potential infiltration of water into that clay tile and all that kind of stuff, but you know, I guess that's kind of what I got to say.
How difficult would it be, Joe, to just go in there and use our easement on the existing one right now? I mean, if they built on there, but again, then it would be if they got a building permit and nobody drew out the easement in there and they built on the eastmost portion of the easement, right? So their lots really grew by 15 feet. What the heck did that car just do? Them two run together? I seen some bouncing headlights out there.
Looked like that pickup box was up in the air.
Huh?
It looked like the pickup box was up in the air.
Something happened there, cause I seen the lights go up and down.
Accident of sorts.
Did it hit your truck?
No, it's on the other side of,
That's what Brett's trust.
I'll go over there.
Could probably get called anyways.
I don't know. I'll just run over it quick.
So in the end result, you know, that's some of the concerns that Brett has.
So what you were saying,
It
Robert,
is
though,
truly his
was,
property. It's not my property. I got a little bit of a stake in what goes on down there sometimes, but it is Brett's property. So
but that is the homeowner's fault for building on that.
Well, if they came to the city and got a permit, you know, and there's supposed to be 15 feet, right, Joe? 12?
Yeah.
12 feet, you know, and they said they're gonna put this fence up and they put it up on this eastern portion.
Mhm.
And if
Give
they
them
got a
a permit.
permit and we said, yep, okay, nobody had it surveyed to know where that easement was. So that's the problem we got right now.
But I didn't bring mine. Yeah.
I mean, like you look at the right of way behind my building, right away.
Cause this is your building here, right?
Right,
Okay.
This is
right
the
away
right
is here. You know, there's a fence completely through that right of way, halfway through the right of way. The building's in the right of way. This building's in the right of way. So I mean, at that point, like there is a right of way back here that they've.
Could use.
Is it really?
Right.
And what's the proposal? I'm fine.
What happened to
Be
him?
15 feet.
One turned in from.
Everything that's yellow.
Everything that's yellow is the proposal? But where, what is it, what part's affecting you?
This
I'm
is,
not sure, something.
red line is my property.
Oh,
Yours is.
So I already have an easement on the north side of my property. Now the proposed easements on the south
Really?
and the, or
To come
the
into
south and the west.
to come in.
Your sewer comes out on the south side, right?
Correct,
So what we're proposing is to come in this yellow portion.
correct.
And you're saying we should go on the other side?
I'm thinking that if you want to use the yellow portion, you're gonna compensate me for the yellow portion. Or, I mean,
Or,
in my eyes, yeah, go ahead, put in the right away. But then that's gonna cost you guys all that money to move those if that is on the fact that the city gave those people building permits.
so what are you wanting for compensation?
I would accept an offer. I just feel like the offer that was made is not enough.
2,000?
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily an offer. We were negotiating on behalf of the city and that was the value of the land.
Well, you must have a number in mind then.
And at this point, I really don't know. I would be entertaining an offer that you guys think would be fair, and at that point, I'm more than willing to look at that, I guess. So. Yeah, and I understand you're looking at it like I'm not gonna lose anything, but I also feel that you guys have a lot to gain on doing this project. And at the end of the day, if you have to pitch in a little bit more money to make things a lot easier for everybody else, I think it's a drop in the bucket, I guess. And I mean, I guess the other thing I look at, like. In the money aspect of things, you know, I've definitely kept up on watching city council meetings and such things like that. The last city council meeting, there was talk of, Mike Drummer having issues with the building up at the school. And he was not happy with the tax valuation, and there were people that said that maybe what we can do as a city is abate, Mike Drummer's city. I understand.
None of that, nobody agreed to that,
I
and that was.
understand, but talk to that, and that doesn't mean that talk goes away. And if you guys are willing to give that to Mike Drummer, who's never been a taxpayer in this town, but yet you wanna just say, hey, Brett, this is just what it is, and either you accept this, or we're just gonna dig next to your building. I'm kind of looking at it like, hey, I've been here for a while, it'd be nice to be compensated for what you want from me, I guess.
Well, again, then you obviously have a number in mind.
I don't have a number in mind.
Well, you can't come here and say 2,000 isn't enough, but you don't have a number in mind.
But I think too, he's never talked with the council,
Sure.
always had conversation. This is
Okay.
the first time.
Right.
So, yeah,
And
he probably has to get his ducks in a row and say, yes, this is what I'm thinking.
I think we do too, because that map, I think we were looking at last month or in December. I don't remember, and I didn't bring that with me, and I didn't review that tonight either. The easement parts gets confusing anyway, so I think we'll have to study and maybe
And
bring
again,
back up.
the thing for me is I haven't even thought about a number, because to tell you the truth, the first time I talked about this, it was, this is just the way it's gonna be. You're gonna give us your easement. We're just looking for, and then nothing against you or nothing, but it's just, there was no money, nothing like that. Well, so I'm kind of just looking at you guys to make an offer to that. So I can kind of think on it, I guess.
Hey, we
Well,
paid- Go ahead, Amy.
him telling you that you would still have buildable, like you could, does that change your mind at all? Cause it's really not taking away any buildable land then, cause that was one of your
Correct.
points, but it
It is,
doesn't.
but it's still.
We paid a lot of money to have these drawn up for us, I forget what it was. It was like $8,500 or something. It was a lot of money. But it doesn't even show those lines. And that's where we're running into problems, because today Jerry from the body shop says that his plugged up over here. And do you guys know when Brian Severance looks in the manhole, is he looking in that one when he says there's blood coming in there?
I don't,
Do you know Joe?
Manhole back.
Sorry, Brad, go on. When we were doing the flow monitoring in town, where we saw blood in the manhole is all the way down at the old Highway 66, the most downstream manhole before it goes to the lagoons. So I'm not sure which manhole Brian Severance is talking about exactly.
Okay, well, like I say, it comes out of Jerry's building here.
Yeah,
And over the years, there's a big cable for the telephone or whatever. They drilled right through the existing pipe. So that got fixed, but then they hook in with the locker and that goes
Yeah.
north.
yeah, and that goes right up the southwest corner of Brett's shop there. There's a manhole and it connects right into that. manhole.
That's the one, okay, all right. That's what I was wondering, because now, since we're down there digging, that should be all fixed up.
Yeah,
Because it's got clay tile, just like what's behind those
I
houses.
mean, I know for sure, there's a definite sewer smell back there anytime you're mowing grass or anything.
Yeah.
Coming from, there's actually one closer to the building than there's one back on kind of the eastern slope of where the
Yeah.
ditch starts to go down.
Yep,
There's actually two of them there.
yep.
Yeah, think on it a little bit and let us know, cause you have some leverage, you have something we need and.
Right.
But,
Well-
it's not, it's, like I said, it's not negatively affecting you at all, but, and he was just giving us land value. He wasn't giving us the value to you or.
Here's a question for you, Joe. If that locker runs right straight through to that manhole,
Yeah,
there's obviously probably no easement through this property.
right, that's gonna be, I was looking at our easement map here. The challenge will be the 12-foot wide right of way that we've been talking about, that is on the western side of Brett's property. That ends once you get to Shabbat Street. And it doesn't exist anymore there, so
And then those,
we'd have to cut it through and get an easement from, yeah, the locker or whoever to get that thing rerouted.
so then, you were talking about those cleanouts for that every, how far?
Yeah, every 100 feet.
Every 100 feet. So is that line running right here now? Because there's a clean out right here by this property.
Yeah,
And then there's, like you say, there's one up here on this side of the driveway.
yeah, and then down.
So and that really comes right here to this house.
Yes, yeah.
So is that all in disarray, obviously, too?
Well, the cleanouts are PVC. That's what's odd about it.
Well, see, they dug down and put them in when that guy was having a problem.
Okay, so the cleanouts.
And-
are PVC, they're not necessarily.
Because in reality, when this all happened, there is like a cistern under that house.
Okay.
That was full of sewage. So that pipe going there had to get cleaned out multiple times to provide that service to that house. So, I mean, we were trying to comply with the pollution control because of our I situation. The day we were down there, you know, there was clear water running in that pipe,
Yeah,
about maybe an inch, maybe.
yeah.
So we are getting some I there.
Mhm.
And I mean, if the city gave those people permission, but yet they built on our easement or right away, do we have to replace stuff the way it was? How does that all work?
Yeah, all we have the right to do is to replace things how they are now. If we don't have an easement, if it's in the public right of way, we can change the world and do the things that we need to. But if we don't have an easement, all we can do is replace things that they are.
So just say we throw $7,500 out to Jay or Brett and Jay. Would it cost us more than $7,500 to go back to our original right away? To take that?
Yes, that, it would cost more than $7,500. I don't have an exact number on me, but to relocate the fences, the sheds and the retaining walls would be more than $7,500.
Because we are going to relocate another manhole in your northwest corner of your property, right?
Not northwest.
Yeah, northwest, where it ran from behind them as their houses.
Steve's property.
Right.
What's that, Brett?
You're putting it on my property because Steve ain't gonna let you go on.
That's right, yeah,
Right.
Steve,
yeah.
Okay.
you got one or two on yours now, I can't remember. There's two now.
And then right on the corner of that, there's a big storm sewer intake.
Let's see that again, Jay.
I did bring.
Or did you bring some?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, thank you.
One of them have moved a lot. I went down there and looked.
Does yours hook into the one out of the ground?
Thank you.
Or does it?
It's all the
It's
same.
all.
Yeah, it hooked in that one that's sticking up tall. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Aren't you out there, Scott?
Now my.
Bill's there.
See if they ran into Brett's trucks.
That's what I'm kind of worried.
Nope, they missed it.
They must have truck, okay.
Who hit it?
Sure. Got pulled over on that thing.
Three vehicles
Water went right over the top of the car.
involved.
Back. Becker.
Everybody okay?
Yeah.
He.
We'll find out.
Exactly.
No, you're
It's time for a new truck anyways.
it's about 6 feet away, I think. You were parked on the other, you were parked on the other.
It's the two cars driving. Scott, I think my SUV was over there too.
I looked and there's only the car and pickup.
Okay, all right.
The pickup don't even look that bad. Went over to Santa or the corner of it. Up and over and back down.
So if we got an easement from Brett, what were we gonna do? We were gonna try to line the existing line going north.
Yeah, so the same is true about going north onto the Pongratz property where we do still have a prescriptive easement. No, as we talked about the project, that line just. It was no longer underneath the drainage swale, so we didn't feel as though there was as much I contribution from that area to the north. There wasn't as much bang for the buck for the city to pursue that area. You know, the whole reason this project came to fruition. The whole reason this project came to fruition was to reconstruct that clay pipe underneath the drainage swale.
Is it a red pickup?
Yeah.
Hey, there's a car and then there's a pickup, and I think your pickup is still up there, but I don't know, I can't tell you if it got hit.
Yours didn't get hit.
Okay.
And then from Jay's northwest corner going north, that pipe is not even in the prescribed right of way, right?
It's in it, so it's not in the platted right of way, but what a prescriptive easement is being that a pipe is there.
Been there.
Yeah, so prescriptive easement is, this is not platted, but the city, it's a public utility that's been there for over 15 years, and the city has the right to make. It really becomes a legal issue. One thing to keep in mind with the project is we do have the 12-foot right of way, Brett's correct, and Mr. Mayor, you're correct, we have the 12-foot right of way on the west side, but on the south side of the property, we don't have an available right of way to get the pipe in now.
Is the right of way at 12 feet or 15 feet even adequate to dig a pipe in? Do we need more?
Yeah, it wouldn't be adequate because given there's power poles and other small utilities back there, 12-foot wide isn't wide enough to, you know, construct a sanitary sewer in there with no other disturbance. It's not wide.
So I can see where Brett is coming from. Those people have built on our existing one. It will cost us X amount of dollars to go in there and take down their fence and their retaining walls and that to stay in our prescribed right of way. So myself, it would be nice to come to an agreement tonight. So that allows you guys to move forward, because
Yep.
if we only meet once a month, that just delays this another 30 days. And then the bidding would just get out into the summer when people are busy and we might not get good bids. So I mean. Shit.
Yeah, so,
So if we take down their fences and we have to rebuild their fences, they get to be rebuilt back into the easement?
Well, that's the part. Did they come and fill out a building permit?
No.
But we didn't ask where the lot lines were, so they built on the right of way. I guess we.
If they have to go back into their own yards, I'd just make them do it that way anyways.
Yeah, I guess. They could come at the city and say, well, you gave us permission to build. So, but again, from this point, are we gonna learn that anybody that's gonna build now has gotta have 100 lot lines from this point
Yeah,
forward
yeah, definitely.
to make it right?
Yeah.
Because you're dealing with, you know, an older part of the houses that down there, been there, established for a long, long time. So, you know, this was a good old boys deal here. Well, we ran the sewer down there and everybody hooked on to it, you know, we got, Tim has got one of them in his backyard. And they had to share the costs of, when that sewer was plugged up multiple times. So we have a few of them around town, you know, and,
What offer are you proposing to them?
$10,000.
Like you say, I mean, for me, I gotta think about it for a day or two, like, I can't just go on off a whim, go and sell a piece of property. 10 minutes, but, I mean, it's definitely something that I can think about, I mean, get back to you.
So I mean, yeah, because by the time we get done with the others, but again, then they live there trouble-free. They're gonna get a new sewer line. Where are their hookups? So are they got some buildings on top of their hookup? So we would be in there anyway?
Well, the sewer is far enough east, we would just, catch it on the east side of those fences and the east side of those
Okay.
retaining walls and Y into the sewer.
It is far enough past what they got established.
Correct, yeah. We'd actually be moving the sewer line west, compared to where it is now,
Okay,
Closer to their properties.
closer to their property.
to the properties along Halliday Street.
Yeah.
You're right, yes,
Yes.
correct.
So long run, Brent will benefit a little bit, 'cause it's gonna get kicked further. It won't harm his property as bad on that north and south end.
Calendars up there,
Yeah.
but the numbers are
The sewer
so
pipe
small, I
goes
can't
there.
see.
What number?
Yeah.
If we had to have another meeting, say, give Jay 2 weeks, what
2
would be,
weeks,
and we could meet again. Tom would be here also to make. help.
27th, or what's today, the 12th, the 26th.
26, yeah.
Or, maybe we could go, like a week and a half from now, midweek. If you had a week and a half to decide, Brett, would that be adequate?
I think we could try Thursday.
The 28th would be Wednesday,
How about the week before that, the
Hold on.
21st?
oh, 21st.
That'd be a week from, Wednesday, right?
Yeah, we have Wednesday.
21st,
I mean, that gives you a week and a half about.
Yeah, it gives us a little time to do a little more due diligence on our part too.
What was that, John?
Gives us a little more time to do more due diligence too.
Okay. I mean, Tom would be back, I believe. Did he say when he'd be back?
He just said he wouldn't be here.
Yeah,
I know,
Me too.
so, and again, now that might give Joe some more time to look into our other existing problems too.
Yeah, give me an opportunity to look at the property lines and how we could
Yeah.
do something over there to fix the.
Does that sound doable for you guys then? 21st for the, Amy?
A week from today.
Yep.
7 o'clock?
7 o'clock?
Somebody want to make a motion to have a meeting then at 21st, 7? Taking, I'll give Joe some more time. You probably got more questions for us yet, told Joe.
Just wanted you to.
I think we're gonna have to have somebody just go down
Wi-Fi kicked
that
off.
clean out.
Mine,
And there's a clean out here too, when they fixed that time.
Yeah.
There's a clean out right here somewhere. Nobody knows right now, but they put one up there. So we'd have to televise that way going north and see where all that goes, right?
So there are two different service lines.
Is there?
Well, that's what
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that.
Because you say there's one here that
Yeah.
goes right here, right?
Yes, and it connects right up, if you keep going north.
And there's another clean out right here.
Yeah,
And then does it dump into that manhole?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no manhole there, but it dumps in, there's a bend there.
Oh, okay, there's, yeah,
There's
because
no
that's
manhole.
right in the swale, right?
Yeah, there's no manhole there, but we have the televising, there's a bend.
Okay,
And there lies in there.
so I don't know, if they claim the locker, I talked to them boys today, they said their dad says it comes right out on this corner here.
So I bet theirs then joins up with.
Well, I was wondering
Goes
if,
into the manhole outside of Brett's there.
has anybody ever looked in that manhole? Is there
So
a?
there's a white pipe going south in that manhole, a couple feet up off bottom.
Isn't there?
Here's marked on here.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just not exactly sure how it merges together, the three property. But, okay, well, we'll have to give them some options and getting.
There was a shed next years and years ago next to the locker too that burned.
Okay,
Who
Yeah.
knows what ever happened to that?
I mean, maybe you can go out west to Holiday too, then you gotta dig up the street. Yeah, I'll have to look at, I'll look at some options.
All right,
So, okay, thanks.
all righty. Well, anything else that you've encountered then? Joe?
No, yeah, once we come to an agreement on the alignment for the sanitary sewer pipe, we're good to proceed.
All right. Jay, Brett, any other question?
I guess, so is that? It's a $10,000 offer
Unofficial offer.
as of right now. That's
Well, I just threw that out there. I mean,
Yeah, I think we'll have to probably double check with the city attorney and make sure we're not jumping into anything that we shouldn't yet, but yeah, it's considered a tentative offer barring anything legal hoops that the city will have to jump through, or, you know.
that's a good idea. Yeah.
Somewhere to start thinking about though.
Yeah, I'll take it as an offer and that's what I would expect to be here on the 21st.
Yeah, and maybe Tom would have some further comments or another idea to make this work forward too, so. Guess for now, that's all we can do. All righty, thank you. Any other questions on Joe as far as what you've gotten done so far?
No questions from us.
All right,
We do think, I think there's some hungry contractors out there, so I still think there's good opportunity for
Yeah.
good numbers.
but now, you know. Do you have a cost per foot, what it costs to dig it in right now, you know?
Well, yeah, per foot of sanitary sewer, you know, it's $45 a foot. But there's just a lot more to it, right? And you start talking about animals and turf establishment and all that.
Because I mean, in reality, the sewer that services the locker and the body shop are kind of like the same situation behind these houses. It's probably put in many, many years ago. And we are replacing this, even if that was a private line years ago, we're replacing it now.
Right.
So that going south, it probably shouldn't be treated any differently.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought there. The service along North Halliday, I think, what is it, 5 homes? So, get north? 1, 2, 3.
2018, so.
So hopefully they get the line on a used one